So guys, so for today's video, just gonna be talking about secondaries and stuff because I'm the Galaxy Brain. I know everything there is to talk about, so bring you that knowledge. Also, I'm sorry if the audio quality is kind of off today. I'm currently moving to kind of new place, so almost finished, like 99% done. But I still have to set up some things for my mic. So sorry about that, just deal with it today, it's worth it. So anyway, I noticed in the past, hey, what are you doing picking up a secondary for tournaments? You're not even a high level player, you don't go past 2-2. Don't you play the other character, right? And well, I think for competitive stuff, for tournaments, for serious practice, that for the most part is still true. I think there is a lot of validity, and I made a video on this before. I think there's a lot of validity in picking up a secondary character, not for like competitive play, but to just learn how to play the game better, for a few reasons. One is honestly just from a simple like burnout perspective and mentality perspective. It's very easy to play the game, you know, like an hour or two or whatever, and just start autopiloting with your character. You start doing the same thing over and over. You're not really thinking about what's going on. Maybe getting frustrated, maybe getting bored, whatever it is. Like just playing the same character over and over. It just for various reasons isn't isn't always like best thing. So that's one reason. And another reason is that you can learn a lot about the game by playing other characters. You have trouble with a matchup, and this is gonna sound basic, right? But just play that character. Play the character like 10, 20 hours. Really get a feel for how that character works. You don't have to learn them like to be the best with them. You want to learn them enough that you understand what the game plan is and what they're looking for in a lot of situations. That will help you immensely. Even like 5 hours on the character can teach you a lot if you've never played that character. You played the one game and said, oh, I don't vibe with this. I'm good at this. So that's another thing. And so when you play different characters, you have different perspectives on the game, right? So if you want to like really just understand the game on like a basic level, you have to understand what things are kind of like consistent across multiple characters and what things are character specific. Because a lot of characters play their own game in Ultimate. I'm looking at you Steve players or us Newman players, where like we really just kind of do our own thing and don't interact with the normal game mechanics. And then even characters that kind of play the more like standard game, like Palutena, Lucina, still play in their own way and have their own like kits that don't like represent everything this game has. So just by doing this, you can understand the game more and really get a feel for like just general perspective stuff. Another reason to play the character is you'll be able to learn a lot from playing that character, both of their strengths and their weaknesses. Now, when it comes to weaknesses, a good example for me has always been Disadvantage State. I played Brawl Olimar, I played Smash for Rosa. Those characters, awful in Disadvantage. If those characters got put in Disadvantage, like, that's it, they're screwed, right? But as a result, I have honed my Disadvantage State, especially my recovery, super well. People always say, I'm like impossible to edge guard, I'm impossible to pin down Disadvantage. And I'm like, had to learn it, right? When you're stuck with the kit you got, you're gonna have to learn to compensate for those kind of things when you're forced to play those situations. And now that I play a character with a good disadvantage state, I'm like, wait, I should never get hit in disadvantage. Too bad all the characters with those I don't really like much, otherwise I'd probably be broken. But anyway, so another thing though is learning how to utilize their strengths on characters who aren't as good at those things. So a good example of this, people will say my juggling is really good. Like people say my neutral is very good, my juggling is very good generally. And I think when it comes to juggling in particular, I have played characters with insane juggling for years. Olimar and Brawl was insane at juggling. Smash for Rosa, up there existed, right? So you might play characters with like subpar juggling tools, like Min or Pit, or like Toon Link. Not necessarily like unusable, but just like not really that good of tools in those situations. I make them look very good because I am so used to having to use those tools with my characters, right? That I've been able to recognize when those tools are good and how to make them usable in a lot of situations. So even though Min up air should like be an button, I'll just fight people and juggle them with like 6 uppers in a row and be like, yeah, you're not landing anymore. So it's one of those very interesting things where you would think almost like playing a character with a good like set of tools would carry you and make it hard to actually learn how to use that properly. But it is the opposite, in fact. So, yeah, and I think that's really it for what I have on like reasons to play secondaries. Like, you don't have to, of course. I still always recommend having one main character you work on until you're like a high-level player. Unless you have a matchup like Pikachu versus Ganondorf. In that case, I'm sorry, Pikachu players. I know Ganondorf is too hard for you guys to deal with. But yeah, so don't be like afraid to like just play a second character. Because I always hear people ask me in lessons, "Hey Dabuz, should I play a character? Can I play another character?" And I always tell them, yeah, just do it for fun, do it casually. Use it as a chance to learn other things, mess around, cool down as well. Another thing that's very big is, I know I mentioned this with like not getting bored, but also like a cooldown character is really good, right? You play like a 3-hour session, you're just tired, you want to just press buttons. It's great to have that, especially in case you don't want to like start building bad autopilot habits with that main character because you're probably more tired of pressing buttons. But you still want to press buttons. Oh, it's almost like a junk character in that way, as weird as that sounds. Yeah, guys. Hope this video was helpful, and I'll catch y'all for the next one every Wednesday like always.